Well, as promised, I'm back, and I just wrapped up my John Wick Chapter 4 movie review. So it is apparent that I will now rank all four John Wick movies. So this franchise as a whole is a really, really awesome action thriller series. So, without further ado, and without making this video way too long, let's go ahead and get started with my number 4 pick, and that is gonna be John Wick Chapter 2. And this is probably like my second time ever actually watching this. I didn't really see it in theaters, but I watched it maybe, I want to say I like rented it or something, and then I just got the Blu-ray, and I just put this on like a couple days ago. And to me, this is kind of like the black sheep of the franchise. It's not really memorable, and the villains are kind of mustachioed, if you know what I mean. And it's a really easy takedown for John Wick because he just goes after the D'Antonios and he literally brings down that family of assassins. So, of course, this is just shoot 'em up and John Wick coming up on top. It still is a really good movie, but this also sets up Parabellum, of course. And at the end of this movie, a bounty goes on his head for 7 million books. But as you watch Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, that bounty goes up to astronomical units. But I still really do enjoy this movie. It's just a little bit forgettable and not really easy to go back to. So, if you want my full thoughts on this, I actually do have all 4 movies reviewed on my channel now. So, you can go back in there and see what I actually think. But that is my number 4 pick, John Wick Chapter 2. And at number 3, and it's appropriate, and I thought that this was definitely one of the best of the franchise. But then Chapter 4 came out, so this definitely went down for me. And at number 3 is John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. And this was released in 2019. And I watched this for the second time a couple days ago. And this definitely expands the universe quite a bit. But this is just like a globe-trotting adventure. And he just goes to Morocco and other places. But he meets up with Halle Berry and they kind of form a friendship, but she's not in this movie that long, and this movie just isn't as bombastic as Chapter 4. So, yeah. Like I said, this is the very first movie I reviewed on my channel. So if you want my full thoughts, go check that video out. I just don't see myself really watching this one that often as much as my last 2. But this does have very, very awesome action sequences And I really do like this movie, but it just doesn't hold up as much as my final two. So, yeah. That was my number 3 pick. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Okay. And at number 2, and I never thought that this would happen, but this was definitely Top Gun syndrome, where I thought a certain sequel was better than the original. So my number 2 pick is the original John Wick. Now hear me out. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite action movies, period. But this just introduces the character, and the story is very simple to follow. It's just this man that got out of the assassin game, and his wife recently passed away, and she gives him a beagle puppy after her passing, and gangsters break into his house and kill the puppy, and they also stole his car. So that's what literally sets off John Wick's killing rampage. This is a movie that definitely wouldn't have worked for a lot of people, but this is by far one of the best action thrillers ever made. And it was a major surprise when I first saw this. I literally had no interest in it, but after watching all 4 of these movies, this is definitely one of my favorite action franchises of all time. But I did ultimately give this an A+. So, yeah. Definitely a perfect starting point for an action franchise. But at number 1, John Wick Chapter 4. And I literally just talked about this in my previous video, so I won't go into all the details. This is a perfect series finale. And it's just all or nothing for John Wick. Could this be the movie where he actually dies? You'll find out at the very end of this. But with its mammoth runtime, I was never bored. And not to mention, this movie is 2 hours and 49 minutes. It's just sheer perfection. And I definitely can't see myself watching this multiple times. It's just got thousands upon thousands. And I'm not joking. There's like thousands of assassins in here, and it just mows them down one by one. And all the action set pieces are perfect, and this is definitely a movie to go see, and it's my favorite movie of 2023 thus far, and my favorite movie in the John Wick franchise. So that's my ranking of all 4 John Wick movies. Hope you guys enjoyed. And on Sunday, I'm going to go see Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves as a special event. So I'll hopefully film a review for that coming up. And then at the end of next week, which will be Friday, of course, I'll film my movies I watched in March. So, I only got a couple more videos to film this month. But this has been a very solid movie month. So look forward to these final videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios. Peace.